Hi there. Still pregnant. I'm 39 weeks and 1 day, I think. Pretty sure. Everything's been going really well. Um, I'm really coming around to the whole hospital birth thing. I'm pretty happy with it now, and I'm not so disappointed. And I've kind of dealt with all of my issues. Me and my husband, my husband's here now. I don't think he was here the last time I made a video. So my husband is here now, and I had a checkup last week, and then after the visit, we went and checked out the L&D, which I really liked. It was really pretty up there and roomy, and I'll do my labor and delivery and recovery all in the same room instead of having to switch to a recovery room like I had to with McKaylee. So that'll be kind of nice. It'll just be, after I get officially admitted, I'll just be in one spot. I've been having a lot of contractions the last 2 days. A lot. Yesterday morning I really thought that I was in labor because I was having so many contractions. It was crazy. But then they slowed down in the afternoon, and then they got more intense in the evening, and then they slowed down. And, that's kind of what's been going on the last 2 days. I had an office visit today, and at my last office visit, I said that I was interested in talking about induction because my husband is leaving on the 9th and my due date's on the 6th. And so I basically just said that I wanted it to be, something that I would want to discuss in the future. Not to make any discussion and not to make any final decisions, but to not rule it out, basically. Even though I've always been kind of anti-induction unless there's medical necessity. I don't know. I really want to have the baby before Michael leaves, and I think that's pretty normal. I think a lot of other women would make the same decision. So it's not just about wanting to be done with the pregnancy, If he was going to be here for 2 or 3 more weeks, then I would never dream of asking to be induced just because I want to be done with the pregnancy, That's just not, I just don't really agree with, can be just doing it for, to be done with the pregnancy. And my OB was the same. He actually said, that he told me about how ACOG recommended against elective C-sections and all that stuff, and that he normally would not allow an elective C-section, or an elective induction, not C-section. And he would not normally allow an elective induction, but because of our situation with Michael being stationed overseas, that he thought it was reasonable, especially with how far along I am, and he wanted to do a cervical check to see if I was a good candidate. He didn't want to just schedule the induction. He wanted to see if, I think it's the Bishop score. He kind of wanted to see if I had favorable conditions for an induction. He wouldn't just agree to it, so which I appreciate. I really get along with this Dr. Roll. We're on the same, personality-wise, I don't love him, but philosophy-wise and principle-wise and, the stuff that he thinks about birth, we have a lot that we agree on, and so that's been really nice. And so he did the cervical check, and all of these contractions I've been having have been doing a lot of work because I am 4 centimeters dilated, and I am 50% effaced, and the baby is at -1 station. So he said that made me a very good candidate for induction, and that would be the chances are very high that I would have a successful induction. And since things looked so good, he stripped my membranes, which I said that I was interested in having done before he even started the cervical check. And he said that he doesn't do it routinely, that there are some situations where it's a good idea, but for the most part he doesn't do it, unless he thinks it seems like a good, he doesn't just do it just because. With McKaylee, my midwife was kind of well, your due date's tomorrow, let's do this just because I was not very far along. I wasn't very dilated. I wasn't really effaced at all. I don't think. I think I was a tight 1 centimeter and 7 or maybe 25%, or no, just barely effaced. I can't remember if it's 25% effaced or something like that. It wasn't really. I wasn't ready. I don't think I was ready to have my membrane stripped, and So hopefully with me being so much further progressed this time, it will go better than it did with McKaylee. Because with McKaylee, it resulted in really hard contractions that I had trouble handling, and just because it was my first time, I kind of worked against my contractions. So I'm more confident that this time I'll be able to handle them even if they come on stronger, just because I've done it before. And I don't know, part of me feels like the last year or so that I've been doing yoga kind of helps prepare me to have more control over my body and relaxing, like forcing myself to relax and stuff like that. So I'm more confident that I can do it this time, or as opposed to last time, I was not prepared at all. Well, not last time, my first time. Because last time I didn't have my membrane stripped, I just went into labor completely 100% spontaneously. So hopefully I'll go into labor in like the next 2 or 3 days. He said what he normally sees is that not the next day, but the day after is when people will go into labor if the stripping of the membranes worked. So we'll see. With McKaylee, I went into labor the next day. So who knows what will happen? Everything is different for each pregnancy and whatnot. So just kind of gonna wait and see. And if I don't go into labor spontaneously between now and Monday, I do have an induction scheduled for Monday. I go in at like 7 and they'll do the non-stress test, and they'll put me on a very diluted solution of Pitocin, and then very, very slowly they increase it until they find the point where my body will respond to it. So that was good to hear, that they're not just going to turn on the Pitocin, that it's going to, be very slow, so that, because from what I hear, Pitocin contractions can be very, very, very intense. So for them to do it slowly, I'm more likely to have manageable contractions rather than just being thrown right into holy crap contractions. So I think that's about all. Hopefully, I feel like I'll go into labor before the induction. But if not, I'm okay with the risks in this situation. I know the risks, and I know that, I don't know how to explain it. I just I think having to switch from the home birth to the hospital birth is kind of making me really decide what about natural birth is important to me, because I feel like everything will go much more easy for me if I have my certain things that I know are important to me that I want to have happen, and kind of am more lenient on the other things, because I just, I don't want to be miserable just because I have things set in my mind a certain way. I feel like if I'm more flexible and more willing to work with them, then I'll be happier with the outcome. So that's kind of the mindset I'm in now. And so the only thing I know I really don't want is I don't want an epidural. I'm okay with having morphine. I had morphine with McKaylee, and it was really nice. It took the edge off, but I could still feel the contractions. But then by the time the morphine wore off, I was about 8 or 9 centimeters, and they were pretty much just like, do you want the epidural? If you want it, you need to get it now. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to do it because you're going to be pushing. So I just kind of had this, well, I have to choose now, so let's just do it, because I progressed so quickly after I had the morphine that they weren't really ready for me to be already at 9 centimeters when they were moving me to the delivery room. So I really think I would have been happier with my birth with McKaylee if I had just said no, just let the morphine wear off, and I could have done the rest of it naturally. Because that's what would have happened, is that the morphine would have been worn off by the time I was pushing, and I really think that would have been a more pleasant experience for me. That would have been more what I had in mind. And so with the if I do get induced, or if the contractions are really crazy like they were with McKaylee, I'm not totally opposed to having pain medication. I'm just opposed to being stuck in bed with the epidural. That's what bothers me, I think. So I'm just kind of having to weigh what I want, what's important to me, and I'm prioritizing based on that. And and he talked to me about breastfeeding today, and he's very, very pro breastfeeding, so that was exciting. And the last doctor that I saw last week, he was very pro breastfeeding, and so that makes me happy. Hopefully the nurses are the same, because that's usually what it comes down to. No matter how pro breastfeeding or pro natural birth your doctors are, it really depends on the nurses you get, because you see them so much more than the doctors. So, but hopefully that just hopefully that's a sign that the nurses are the same and that they'll be really pro breastfeeding too. But I've successfully fed 2 daughters. I've never fed them formula in their, neither of them have had formula in their lives. So I'm pretty confident that I can do it this 3rd time. But, you never know what things are going to be different. So, I just have to just prepare myself the best I can. And let's see. I'll show you the belly. It might actually look smaller because Matilda has dropped so much. But yeah, she's a little bit lower. And let's see, I'll go ahead and show my bare belly. But yeah, so hopefully in the next couple days I will have a baby. And if not, he said that with the way I was dilated and effaced and the station of the baby, I had about a 90% success rate for the induction. So I pretty much will definitely have a baby by the end of Monday. So we will see, hopefully sooner, because Michael leaves like 3 days after that. And I would really like for him to be here for a week before, week postpartum. But yeah, I think I've covered everything that I could possibly cover. So thank you for watching. I will hopefully the next time I make a video will be after I have a baby. So bye.